Today we are going to talk about view states. If you're not using view states inside your SwiftUI project, you are missing out. It resolves quite a few things. Empty states, error handling, when we do have some data inside our view. So what I have done, and by the way, if you're interested in a one-on-one Zoom meeting with me on a mentoring session, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring. Now, what I have done over here is just started a brand new Xcode project. Nothing fancy, just the template. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to add this into a single file, but feel free to just just move it into separate ones into your project. Let me just remove the canvas. We don't need that. And what I'm going to do is just declare the view state enum types. And we are going to switch through those types according to some data. Either it would be empty, we have an error, we have some data, and so on. So first thing first, we need to create our enum. So our enum is our view state, and it will be of type T, so any, it's a generic. And then we have 4 cases: loading, another case would be a success, and we would just pass along our T value, and then case empty, there we go, and case error with a string. Now, this could be of type error. You could just create your own errors. This is just for simplicity's sake. We are just going to pass along our error string right over here. Now, inside the content view, I'll just go and have some new lines over here. We are going to declare this state, this view state for our content view. Now, by the way, this could be the whole screen view, like the content view right over here. It could be a subview's view state. You can just go wild with over here with the states. What matters is the whole concept, what we are going to cover in this tutorial. So at state, private var, let's just call this state. You can just call it view state, but I'm just going to go with state. And it will be of type view state, and it will return an array of string values. I'm just going to go with an array of string values. That will be our data. And the default initial, I would rather say state, would be loading. Okay, so that's how we declare our initial view state. Now, how do we add this onto our view? Instead of this VStack, I'm just going to create, first of all, a group, because we are going to have several states. We are going to switch through our states, and I'm just going to let Xcode autocomplete right over here. So for the loading, I'm just going to add a progress view over here. For the success value, I'm going to, and all of the errors will just go away in just a second. I'm just going to have items, maybe items, there we go, instead of T. And I'm just going to have a list. I just have a for each also, for each, and items, there we go. And then the ID would be /dot self, making sure that all of these string values are going to be unique. Anyways, you can just have your identifiables also passed along over here. So we have our item in, and then let's just have a simple text of item. Okay, and we can just do that because this will be a string value. Okay, so let's see. We actually want to add in here also loading. Okay, so on the empty one, we are just going to add in an empty view, like something of a text, actually, not an empty view, like empty. But, just feel free to just add anything right over here. For the error code, the error state, we are going to add a text of the string. There we go. Now, again, this is really just the bare bones. You just have much more complex views to just show to the user the error and the empty state, and maybe also for the loading. Yeah, just feel free to just make your own views over here much more complex. And by the way, on the error, we could just also add, let's just have a vstack, because this ties in nicely with what I'm going to do next, a actual button to retry. So let's just have a title of a retry, and then the action would be our load data, which I'm going to create just now over here. Let's have a function of load data. Great. And when this group appears, I'm just going to say dot task and then load data. Now, this should be asynchronous, so let's just have this async over here, and let's just have this inside the task then, task, and let's move this all the way up and await. That's right. Okay, now all of the errors should go away. Let's just see. Oh, and right over here, await too. Await load data. Great. So what is this load data? Well, that is when you are reaching out to your server to just fetch the data. I'm just going to simulate it right over here. And because this will be done not just when this view appears, you can just tap on the retry button. We are going to set first the state to be .loading. I know that's the initial one right over here, but you know, what if the state would be error? Then we just need to put it back to loading. And then we're going to create a do catch statement, because you know there might be errors thrown when we are fetching our data. If there is an error, we're going to say state equals .error, and here it requires the string value. So let's just go with the errors .localized description. Okay, again, this is just the bare bones of it. Now, what I'm going to do is just simulate some sleep over here. Just going to wait a little bit. So try await task dot sleep for, let's just have seconds. Let's just sleep for 2 seconds. Great. And then we are going to get the data. Let data equals, and let that be an array of apple, maybe banana. There we go. And oranges, or just orange. There we go. So now that we got our data, we want to see if that data is actually a non-empty string. So if data is empty, and then we have an else statement right over here. If the data is empty, then the state would change to dot empty. If there is data available, then the state would be finally our success value with, you know, it requires an array of strings with our data. And basically that's it. It's as simple as that. Now, when this view appears, let's just see what we got on the canvas over here. Let's refresh this. It should basically load our 6 fruits over there. It's loading, and after 2 seconds, there we go, we have our array of strings added in there. But yeah, this is quite well, and it's just making sure that you understand how all of the logic works. But let's just take this a little bit even further. Let's create our very own state view. So let me just scroll a little bit down. Let's create a struct called state view, not view state, but state view. This is going to be actually a view which will have a content, there we go, and some data type of t. This will be a view, and yeah, the body is fine over here, but we'll also need to add where content is of type, let's just have that of view. There we go. So we need to say what is actually content right over here. Let me remove our canvas for now, so it's not going to bother us. Okay, so what do we need over here? Well, we actually need a state provided, so a view state, let state, and that will be of type view state, and it's just going to add in of t value data, and then let content, that's going to be completion. It's going to return t, and then it's going to be a view, a content type of view, and then an action when we are retrying. Remember that button that I added? We are also going to surface that action. So retry, and let's just that be a simple completion. Okay, so now we can take this logic that we had over here with the state, cases, loading, success, and so on, and put it into here. So when we are going to use this, it's going to be more simplified, more reusable. So now, again, I'm going to go switch state. I'm just going to go through all of the states. Loading will be progress view. I'm just going to go progress view right over here. Let is when we are succeeded, we are going to create a content with that t. So we're just going to pass it along. It could be a list, it could be a scroll view, whatever we'd like. That's kind of the flexibility over here. We for the empty, we're going to have a text with empty. Come on, empty. And then with an error, again, a simple text with the errors dot. Oh, there we go. We got already our string. So string, there we go. Okay, so basically that's it. It's really, really straightforward. Oh, I just forgot for the button for our retry. So let's just have a button with the title of retry, and the action would be just retry. There we go. This one, what we added right over here. And as you can see, we are just basically reusing the loading, the empty, and the error views over again. All we are going to add as variables is the actual content. So let's use this. I'm just going to simply comment out, well, let's just comment out everything right over here. And then just so we can see the difference. We're going to have a state view. It's just going to have a state, which is the state variable that we declared earlier, and we are going to have a content which will have items, and then the retry. For the content, I'm just going to go with a list. This time I'm just going to go and use the other one with the item, the other initializer with the items and ID, just to be a little bit on the shorter side. So self, and then let's just have our text, and then just $0. I know it's a little bit cryptic right over here, but you know, that's our list over there. And then for the retry button, a task like we did previously, and await load data. And also when the state view appears, we just want to say task and then await load data. There we go. So now finally, let's check it out. We are going to take a look at the canvas, and it just loaded it immediately. It's really nice. Let me just see if I just change something. I think that's fine. Okay, go ahead and check it out. The gist of it, the most important part of this is that you have this view state. So when the data changes, then the view changes automatically. This is how SwiftUI works. You should have these, at least these 4 cases: loading, success, empty, and error. Now, if you'd like a more deeper dive into this topic, go ahead and check out Rebeloper.com, where you can meet me on a one-on-one Zoom meeting.